This episode of Trials and Trebuchets is brought to you by Fanroll Dice. If you're in the market for some new, top-notch dice, and who am I kidding, folks? We're all always on the prowl for some shiny rocks, then look no further than fanrolldice.com. Whether it's their bewitching liquid cores, a pack of trusty misfit metals, or even a set of oh-so-endearing miniature dice, you'll find anything you're looking for and more at fanrolldice.com. And don't forget to use our code TRIALS10 at checkout for 10% off your order of new little crit machines. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 236 of Trials and Trebuchets. I'm your Dungeon Master, Luke. Joining me are my players.
Hello, my name is Ben, and I play the level 12 gnome wizard Windsor Wallaby, along with his cutty little companion, Mr. Wiggles. You may know me. Here's my business card.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm the Dungeon Nest Crab, Integrity Eye Idle Berry.
Nest crab?
She's taughtless, but she's cute.
What? What?
Wait,
What?
did I
Wait,
tell
wait,
you-
wait, wait,
Whoa.
Good for her, I guess.
Whoa.
Thoughtless!
Carla, you want to run that one more time?
Okay. What did I say again?
You're a dungeon. No, yeah, Carl, Sarah, do your intro.
No! I didn't say that she's level 12 Tiefling Roguelock. I just said
Oh,
that
that
she's
was important,
thoughtless. Thoughtless.
That's not what she said.
Hello, my name is Sarah, and I play Mira Marchand, the level 12 half-elf bard. Hey, does anyone know why clockwork golems are so good at philosophy?
Why?
Why?
It's because they excel at cognitive thinking.
Oh, that's actually a...
Ah.
Yeah, that's great.
It should be a comic.
You should be a stand-up comedian, Sarah.
But I like sitting down.
Oh, Jesus.
Hi, I'm Sam, and I play the level 12 human sorceress Serenep Cinderman. I can't beat that intro.
New member of the Union Bunk, Serenep Cinderman.
She's gonna be part
Now
of
I
the
have
house.
another friend who has a giant pet. It's great.
And next time on Trials and Trebuchets.
And next
Thanks for joining us on the
time-
podcast, guys.
So
Bye.
that was the episode then?
And last time on Trials and Trebuchets, Mira Marchand received a hat-born clue and questioned her sketchy fucking roommate. Meanwhile, Winslow Wallaby was woken by a rush Kurt leaving at the crack of dawn to work on a contract for Crowe against Winslow's best wishes. Finally, Serenep Cinderman and Integrity Idleberry fended off questions from Sylvie that were over the line and found new lodging at the Union Bunk for Serenep. After classes during the lunch break and lunch rush, Mira got the gang together to search for a missing reporter on the front lines of this story, Runa Fellward.
Oh, she has a last name, I forgot.
Oh, yeah, I just forget that people have last names, you know?
It
I
happens.
mean, fucking- artist
For
is
instance,
just artist.
none of us have last names.
No, it's Bleep.
No,
Oh
our
my
last name is
God.
Bleep.
Thank you, Sarah.
Our last names are redacted.
Our last name.
Well, our last names are all the same.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
Listen,
What's
his
wrong
first
with
name
Bleep?
is Mr. and his last name is Wiggles.
We find our heroes venturing across the campus at the height of the noonday sun, sweat pouring from all pores. It's a gross day.
Why is it so hot out today?
Humidity.
My pets
As-
are sweaty.
As you march forwards, you are heading, everyone knows this, Emir Marchand, towards the Divination Tower at the front of campus, the little teeth of the mountain itself reaching up across the...
So I go to the place of my death.
You go to the place of your... Winslow, you march back to the place of your death, following in behind and trusting your friend Emir Marchand. As you approach, there is a large open field. You can scouted out from a breezeway, looking across this open field. You see the big towers, people coming to and fro in the lunch rush of professor, attendant, researcher, clerical worker, Crowe's employees, Gollum even, maybe a student here and there, because it is a school.
Yes.
They come to and fro from all towers, save for the one in the very center, that hot mess, blown open cone, rubble still strewn about. The construction effort, you can all look upon almost half a year gone at this point. The construction effort is poor. You would judge it poorly. D at most. As you stand here watching, it seems that there are two people standing amidst the rubble, barring the way in. Which would be the easiest and most direct, fastest, or most accessible, or maybe only route to get in and down into Mira, where you know you're reported to be, which would be formerly Our Lady of the Deep's domain and halls. How would you like to proceed?
Before we kind of actually get up to them, I'm like, Winsler, do you think you could like put a hole through the wall somewhere?
I mean, I could try that. How much rubble is there, like, everywhere? Is it, like, kind of in a mess?
It's, like, pulled in towards the tower, maybe only, like, 5 feet away or 10 feet away now. Some of it's arranged neatly. It's not enough rubble that you could approach without being seen by any means. Like, that would be a difficult task to approach as these two sentries kind of, like, stare out. You can see one of them. They have, like, this light brown skin and, like, these very perceiving eyes, like, piercing eyes. And they have a very long nose, and they're, like, standing. They have a staff in one hand. They look very explorerly, and they're wearing, like, the regular crow robes, and they're just looking out upon the field, waiting, like a hawk poised to snatch up a rat. The person next to them is wearing the same dark robes, but their face, hands and arms and like legs and feet are covered in bandages such that no skin is visible, but you can see that they have these two big yellow goggly eyes that are poking out through the bandages, and they are standing there. They're very wide. I would describe them as you might describe them as a very large muscular build, maybe 6'3" or so. But you see these two sentries staring out, ever vigilant. Winsler Wallaby and the gang.
Should we make them unconscious?
Oh, I mean,
that's just a pretty straightforward way of doing it.
yeah. I mean, we might want to be a little bit sneaky about it, but if all else fails, always a good go-to.
It's a hot day today, lads and laddies?
Integrity out of there. You cross the precipice of this tower into the rubble field, and you yell out what you have just said. The person with like the piercing eyes, their smile kind of brightens up, and they go, "It is! You're so right. I've been saying this all morning. Haven't I been saying this all morning?" They look out down to you and say, do you want to talk more about it?
About the hot weather?
Yeah, it's like terrible. We have to wear these like big stuffy robes, and they brush the robes. You can hear like they look heavy and thick, and they go, and I'm like sweating to death, and guard duty in the middle of the day, in the middle of the summer. I'm not cut out for this line of life. I'm not. I should be like in a bar.
That is completely true.
Playing music, singing songs,
Hey,
talking people up.
Been there.
Yeah. You look the type. You know what you know.
Do you guys want to like go to the dining hall and like get a glass of cold water, and we can like hang out here until you get back? 'Cause like it's rough out right now.
I bet your armpits are sweaty.
The armpits are pretty sweaty. The antiperspirant, the Crowe branded antiperspirant, is great. It works. And they look over at their companion. The companion remains silent and regards you all with these yellow goggled eyes. The goggles are super bright and reflective. You can't really see the eyes underneath, actually. This person goes, my associate over here. And they kind of like lean in and they go, they kind of take like 4 or 5 steps down towards the group of you. They're probably like 5'10", and they say, my associate over here is not super lenient on the rules, and it is a terrible job, but it does pay very well. So I'm gonna be unwilling to do such a thing, unfortunately. If you were to bring me a glass of water or a Crowe branded bottle, of water. I would love that.
You know,
He doesn't give us any.
I'm surprised that you guys don't get any relief. Like, are there do you not get people who like exchange positions?
Well,
with
it's
you?
like a 12-hour. It's like a 12, 16-hour shift, and we started at like 3. So you know.
Oh. Should I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to look at both of these guards and be like, I really think you guys should get a glass of water. And I'm going to cast the spell Suggestion. Specifically, I'm going to use my 2 sorcery points to twin spell Suggestion, so that they will both have to make wisdom saves. DC 19.
Okay.
Here
Let
we
me
go.
take a look. Okay. This person that you were talking to gets a. It's a wisdom saving throw?
Yeah.
Damn. That
Are
fucking
they
sucks.
stupid?
They get a 15.
Okay, that will not do it.
What does it look like as you cast this spell? So that I can describe it taking over.
I think Mira, as she says it, she's playing notes. Have you ever watched one of those videos where it's somebody talking and then they try to score it to specific musical notes?
Yes,
I think she's playing
yes.
notes to fit the tone of what she's saying
Okay.
as she's playing it, and then there becomes this almost hypnotic quality as the words stop, but the music continues to pluck, and suddenly, God, a glass of water just sounds so nice.
Oh, jeez. A glass of water does sound nice, and the job doesn't really do much for my resume. And you see their eyes kind of go like wub, 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 and you can see like this hypnotic effect take over them, not dissimilar from that one scene in the Jungle Book with the rings and such things. And they'll kind of like say, oh, I can taste it now. Oh, I can feel the sweet water. You know the feeling when it's like in your stomach and jostly? I can feel that already almost.
That feeling sucks, but I mean, go for water.
The music was great. It was really mesmerizing. Oh my goodness, that sounds great. And they'll say,
Integrity is good.
I'm gonna scoot up, and I'm gonna scoot off, and they'll look at their companion and say, let's get the fuck out of here. And their companion puts a hand on their chest, the person wearing the goggles, and the goggles don't squint. They put a very large hand out on the chest. The eyes turn towards you, Mira Marchand, and then a kind of stilting voice. Yeah, Serenap, as their head turns, is there something you wanted to do?
I just wanted to use prestidigitation to kind of add some extra like humidity and heat around them to like really like if it helps in any way, I guess.
Of course. Sweat, the perspirations begin to drip off of everything. You can see like big stains appear on this very amicable guard's kind of clothes, and they kind of like, they don't pull out their collar, but they would pull out their collar if it was real. Their companion looks to you, Mira Marchand, and will say in a stilting voice, what are you trying to do here, student?
I don't know what you could possibly mean by that.
My sensors detected magical presence. Have you attempted to cast spells upon us, humble Crowe mercantile employees?
All right, I'm not doing this. Yes, we did. We're going, don't try to stop us. We're very powerful people, etc., etc. And I'm going to almost like try to slip past this guy.
Okay. Okay. This is kind of like into the interior of the building.
Yeah.
If you are particularly quiet about this, it won't be a big deal. But if it gets loud, it could become a bigger deal, to be clear. If this escalates, to be clear. Mira, could you make an athletics check?
Athletics. Sure. I was trying to be more acrobatic, but I will absolutely make an
You can make an acrobatics check.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I'll roll athletics. That is a, what is that? A 7 plus 5, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's a 12. That's a 12.
A 12. A very large, heavy arm swings out and almost clotheslines you, takes you by the midsection, knocks the air out of your stomach, and knocks you back a couple of feet. As you like stumble back, your friends can like maybe grab you and help you keep your balance. And they kind of like at this point stand back with arms outstretched both sides and will say, "No student shall proceed into the tower under my watch, as was instructed of me. Please back down now, or else I will be forced to escalate the situation."
I wonder if I reduce them. I shrink them.
Winsler, the other guard kind of pulls at their collar and goes, "This is getting serious." And they try to begin slipping away. Winsler Wallaby, you can attempt to reduce them. What do I need to make?
They need to make a Constitution saving throw.
A Constitution saving throw. I can make one of those for you. What does it take? What does it look like as you try to cast the spell? Do you have to like touch them, or is it just like point?
It's kind of like, it's not a touch anything. I'm just throwing powdered iron at their face.
Okay, you rummage around like, oh, I got something in here, and then you go, paf! This
Pocket
powdered
Sam.
iron as like a massive cloud in the air. Constitution, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, shit. Okay. How does how does a 7 do?
No.
Okay. Winsler, you throw this powdered iron up in the air. It makes a massive black cloud, and then you hear like a none shall proceed. And you see this like little 3-foot tall guard. Its arms don't stretch out. You could Mira Integrity Winsler, not Winsler, but Serenup. You could pull this thing over like a child in a supermarket aisle. Its arms do not reach to either side. You can see beyond it like the staircase leading down and like the broken strewn rubble of our like the domain where you last saw Winsler die. And it stretches its arms out, unable to really block your way. And it says again, "If you pass, I will be forced to escalate into further security protocols."
Does it look like a golem? Or like a construct, like what does...
It's wearing very big, baggy clothes. It has a very human appearance, a very muscular human appearance, but the voice sounds distinctly golem.
What if we take off the goggles? What if we take off their goggles?
You can, if you want to snatch their
I
goggles
want
off
to take their
face?
goggles off and see what they look like.
This is like bullying.
Make an athletics check as well. Or make a sleight of hand check, Winsler.
Okay.
As this tiny little sentry tries to bar your way. The other sentry kind of like is walking away, maybe 10 feet, 15 feet away, and they're like, don't be, you know, they're just doing their job. See ya.
So that was an 8.
I'm gonna yell back, enjoy the cold water.
Yeah.
Yeah, they leave, Mira. You're one, an 8.
Yeah.
Shit. Winsler Wallaby, you walk up to this thing, it's guarding, it's looking over at Mira, who it sees as a very big threat, who casts magic. You see like the little glint in the eye. You can reach out with dexterous, not super dexterous, but more dexterous than this thing, and grab the goggles and just pull. You hear a rip and a snap, and then you pull them off, and then like some of the bandages come off with it too as you just rip these goggles. The leather snaps. The buckle seems very poor quality. You see very, very big on the goggles is a Crowe Mercantile brand logo, but you pull it, the little clasp snaps, and then a couple bandages pull away, that such that it would reveal like the eyebrows and like lower, like around the eye sockets of a person, and you just see like gold plating and like these little yellow topazy gems staring back out at you. It seems to be a construct, a golem of a sort.
Winsler, what happens if a golem gets wet?
Depends on what they're made of. They could rust.
It puts a hand out and says, "This is truly your last warning before I will beat you all into submission." It looks quite grim and serious, but that might be because it has a metal face.
Yeah.
I wonder. I just want to check something about.
Could we hold him down real quick?
Put
Do
them in a sack.
golems count as creatures?
Golems count as creatures, yes.
Okay, in that case, I never used this spell.
Oh?
I don't think I've ever actually used this spell in the entire time that I've had this magic item.
New spell?
I might. It's a very old spell that I've just never fucking cast.
Really?
I would like to pull out my mute flute and cast sleep
Oh.
Ooh.
on the golem. Well, not really on
Oh,
the golem.
shit. Oh, fuck. What? Why? No. You're a construct. What? Okay. Amir Marchand, roll the appropriate.
5d8.
You roll 5d8 for me, please.
I can roll 5d8. How many d8?
And we will see
do I have?
if that matches or exceeds its HP.
Maybe if we beat it up a little bit, then it'll be enough.
Can it kill it?
No.
Put it to sleep. It won't kill it. It'll just put it
No,
to
it
sleep.
just falls asleep. It's harmless. All right, let's see here. Pretty fucking good. Let's see here. We've got a 6, a 7, a 2, a 5, and an 8. So that's 6 plus 7 plus 2 plus 5 plus 8. That is 28 hit points.
Mir Marchand, this thing has its dukes raised like it's about to start punching you guys in the knees. And it says, "Take one more step and I will." And then you play twee, a very nice note from your mute flute, maybe a little Diddy. And then these waves of exhausting magic wash out. It goes, take one more stuff. And it like collapses off to the side. In a very unconstruct-like way, Mira Marchand, this construct, this golem, falls soundly to sleep. And it crunches to the ground, inanimate, arms splayed out by its side, like an unconscious little body.
Oh.
Well,
Aren't they so cute when they sleep?
Thank you, Delmas, from a year ago.
Delna sneezes somewhere in the distance.
Delmas is in the middle of a dissection and sneezes, and then her professor yells at her.
question. If I were to inspect this construct, would there be
course.
any sort of like paneling that
By
reveals
all
like
means.
internal
You can-
wiring?
You can like turn it over so that it's lying on its stomach and like pull open the robe so you can see through into like the back. You see like a very broad rib cage. It's all completely made of like probably like a steel that's been gilded, Winslow Wallaby. It has like a massive rib cage, super broad paneled shoulders inside in like the central column where its spine ought to be. There's like a bunch of like what you would know as very fundamental pieces, like artificer rods that contain many of like the abjurations and enchantments placed upon the golem for like locomotion and sight and such things.
Okay.
Generally, it's like the control. It's like a spinal cord. It's a control piece.
So what I'd like to do while it's still sleeping, I'd like to finagle the inner workings of this construct so that the orders from Crowe are overwritten and it will not see us as a threat.
Winslow Wallaby, make an Arcana check as you search for its kind of memory rod.
Fuck. God damn it. 14.
14.
Not great.
Winslow Wallaby, you see a bundle of rods. They seem to be drawn out much thinner, almost more wire-like than what you are used to. This seems to be a much more finely constructed golem than like constructed with much better resources and like machinery than like Yogg or the new type Crow golems that are across campus. You can fiddle with it a bunch, but at a certain point, you realize that continued fiddling, if you so should like to, will deactivate the memory and everything, but would also remove like many of the other sensory functions of the golem. Or you could just leave it alone and it should be fine. Would you like to proceed or no?
I think we'll just leave it alone for now.
Okay. Winslow Wallaby, you exercise restraint and kind of like throw the robe back over it, leaving it lying on its stomach and stand back up. The four of you have made it past in no small effort these two sentinels. A stairwell down into the depths of Our Lady of the Deep's old halls looms in front of you.
All right, I guess we gotta go down there, don't we?
Hey, Winsler, are you good?
I'll be okay, I think. Should be okay.
Okay.
I mean, there's no giant brain here to crush us or drown us or any of the sort, I hope.
Integrity's going to like reach out and like have one of her hands on Winsler's shoulder to sort of like get him close to me, like reassuring him that he'll be safe. Like we'll take care of him.
Deep breath.
Yes. But before all that, hang on. Integrity's just like gonna quickly sit this construct so that it looks like they're just sitting down instead of lying down sleeping.
Face first.
So that they don't look suspicious from anyone from far
Incapacitated.
away.
They just look like they've sat down on a hot summer day.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you do this. You sit them with their back against a piece of rubble. The arms are like sticking out almost like at 90-degree angles. You can't alter that unless you wanted to like maybe break them.
No!
No.
And it sits there, arms exposed, or arms put straight out to its sides. And as you like leave it, it looks like a Barbie doll sitting with its arms completely flat out straight. As you leave it, its torso tips forward ever so, just like kind of weird, like an unconscious person like leaning forwards a bit, like on a bus. But from afar, it probably works. Integrity Idleberry. You can,
Perfect.
with a job well done, catch up with your other companions as you descend the stairs into a cavernous hall. Is there any preparatory things you would like to do as you descend into this place?
Not on my end.
I think Integrity's just gonna prepare her jade dagger.
Absolutely.
I will use Produce Flame to give us some light.
Of course. What color flame, Winslow?
Let's go green.
A green flame ignites, casting you all in a eerie, spooky pallor.
I think Syrup's just kind of, because like, you know, Mira's kind of taking us down, taking up the rear just to kind of like keep an eye out.
Sounds good. Serenep sweeps behind you, looking left and right as you descend these steps. Winsler, like a pang, shoots through your body as you walk through past like the section of stairs where you died, right? And you kind of look around this room. It's like this cavernous room that comes to a large point at the top. In the center, there is what you all would know as was once a vat where a massive brain sat, and it was filled with this beautiful yellow brine,
Ew.
neon yellow brine. You might all remember it, Winsler, with horrible memories. Maybe all of you with horrible memories. As you look upon this room now, it is softly illuminated by Winsler's single green light. This fire in his hand, emerging from his like fingertips. It is only illuminated by this single light. That water that was luminescent and neon before seems to have been drained out. As you descend, there is like a walkway forwards to go view the tank, and then the walkways sweep left and right to either side of the tank to what you might remember as like weird portals or some such beyond that brought you to the kind of examination rooms. Integrity and Winsler, you remember this. It was like the one that had like the weird sigils on the, or the markings that you had to select between and changed the destination of the doorway. But those sweep to the left and right, or you could walk forwards and kind of examine this tank more closely if you would like. There don't seem to be any people around. It's quiet as a mouse in here.
Do you know where she is, Mira?
Locate creature is concentration, and it lasts up to 1 hour. So do I still have a ping on her?
Yes, you know that it's down very, like, maybe 200 feet below where you are currently.
Deeper.
She is beneath us.
How do we plan to get further down?
That is a very good question.
You guys were here before, right? Like, are there like, is there a staircase or is there another way down?
I'm trying to remember because like where Winsler and I were was that was deeper.
That was like a lower level, yes. But you accessed it via those like doorways that the destination changed on.
Yeah, doorway tunnels.
Yeah,
and I assume those are not working.
They're still extant. You can look around and in the dark shadows of the green flame, see them at the far end of these halls. From this distance, you can't see if they're active or not. If you would like to walk over to them, Integrity Idlebear, you are by all means free to do so.
Well, we can try this door if that's where Winsler and I played around to get here.
Worth a shot.
Yeah, worth a shot. You lead the way, Integrity. Walking up to this door, it is kind of like an iris-style orifice. Made of like this purple, very smooth alien metal. As you walk up, Integrity, you kind of like put a hand out to the panel on the next, or right to the side of it, and kind of like tap on it a few times, trying to get it to like activate or acknowledge your presence. You hear it kind of sizzle and crack and pop like a piece of fresh wood in a fire, and then it displays just the icon of like a crow perched. And nothing more. And you kind of like tap on that,
and we
like
can't change
work, and you just continuously hear that word or that popping kind of green wood on a fire sound.
I think it's broken.
Oh.
What if I were to try mending on it? I wonder if that would work.
You can absolutely try mending it. You spend the time and put like get out of the way.
Rub my two little lodestones together.
Yeah, absolutely. You put them up, you're channeling magic into this thing. As you do so, you conclude, and you're, as a good technician goes, you give it a good pat, the crow symbol pops up once more, and you hear this whirring, burning, clicking sound coming from behind it, seemingly as though mending had no effect. Seemingly, Winsler, you might intuit this immediately, as if it is in function, but is not responding to you specifically.
Okay. Well, it's working, but it's just not responding to our inputs.
Oh. Well, there must be some way. Runa has to have gotten down there through some way, you know?
Integrity wants to look into where the where the liquid water was.
Yeah, the brine, the big
liquid
tank
water.
there.
The brine, the tank was. And I know
think
that
to
it's
get it
been
to respond, we
drained.
need a metal alloy.
And you said that it's been drained, right?
Yeah, Integrity, you can
So
walk up to it.
It goes down.
It goes very, very far.
Okay.
Integrity, you can walk up to it and you kind of like peer over. It goes close to like 180 feet down.
Okay.
And you can see that there is like a very, over the top of it, maybe not over the top in the lip. The lip is, to describe it, there's like a lip almost like a swimming pool or like the petting part of an aquarium where you can pet like the manta rays and stingrays and such, where it has like a small lip and then it would be filled with water, except it's a massive cavity beneath and expands, tapering outwards as it descends. Integrity, you can peer over the glass edge, looking down deep into this drained out pit. Winslow holds the flame aloft and casts this green light through the glass, and it casts far and deep into this expanse, but darkness does eventually take its stand. Integrity, as you look down, you can see that over the top, it almost seems like there's this very fine mesh that has been placed, almost like it was, you might intuit, it's like a netting of sort, which was not there the last time. As you remember, you dove in and swam all the way down.
Yes.
I will remind you, though, as you might be onto something here, that when you had exited from the examination room, you and Winslow, you had been on a lower level, but still been able to see this tank.
Yes.
So it is like
I
a
do recall
connected
that.
environment. Just the doors don't seem to be functioning at the moment.
Is there any holes in the mesh that could be like a potential runa hole?
There is no potential runa holes. You examine it, and it seems to be fully constituted. No breaks. It looks new.
If we can't find any other way, all I could think about is going down through the cavern here, because like this floor is connected to the bottom floor.
We've gone down, underground in sketchier ways before.
So we'll just jump. Okay.
What?
Let me
I mean,
get
Serenep can,
Featherfall
unless there's
prepared.
anti-magic smoke again.
Oh,
Oh god, imagine if that happened a
Man, this
second
is a
time.
callback episode to the greatest failures.
at least we can see the bottom of this one,
That's
and it's
true.
not an eternal hole.
You're cognizant that this vessel does so end at the bottom. In your awareness, there was no anti-magic here, and it does not seem as though such smokes linger.
And thus we must make a leap of faith.
Yeah,
I
Crack my
guess.
knuckles and cast Featherfall.
absolutely.
On the
You
group
cast
of us.
Featherfall, you all leap over the edge in unison and descend softly and land on a kind of mesh net. It sinks an inch or two as your weight settles upon it, and thus your journey down ends at a strict 6 feet of depth. The light looms far beneath you. This kind of metal mesh net keeping you from going any further.
Can we cut the mesh?
You can cut the mesh, absolutely. And someone want to pull out a knife and just start going away?
What if we
Yes.
melted
Absolutely.
it?
Integrity. You sigh, pull out a knife, and just slice very evenly. A large gash appears, and Integrity, you can slip through. Actually, everyone make athletics checks.
Uh-oh.
Oh, sick.
You cut it and it all
Yeah, bro.
falls.
Ooh,
Let me
18,
roll
13 plus
Featherfall
5.
at least.
Okay. Mira, you slip through very quickly, unperturbed.
18.
18. You follow Mira Marchand very easily, just jumping down into the hole, like diving into a lake.
I got a 16.
16. Serenep Cinderman, you fall down behind them,
Ben's face is
drifting slowly downwards as the feathers on your feet flap mightily. Windsor Wallaby.
8.
8. Winslow, you take a step forwards, a bit slower on the reaction speed, on the uptick as the rest of your friends. You're like, and you take a step forwards, and as you drop very slowly from Featherfall, or moderately speed, you see around you the mesh begin to regrow where it has been cut and reweave, and Winslow, it makes like a little, and just you get stuck. Like elbow, like it's up to your armpits, and around you are just being pushed, like squished by mesh as it attempts to regrow. You can see it starts to like kind of like tear at your clothes a bit as you seem to be interrupting its regrowth process. The rest of you drift slowly down. Windsor's 10 feet, 15 feet, 20 feet above you. You see that.
Winslow, are you okay?
Don't worry. I can get out of this. And I'm
supposed to
going
have a
to use my magic of teleportation to teleport 30 feet directly below me.
Sensational. Using your conjurational abilities, you tap into your assistant, your substitute professor's teachings of the pipe.
The
room,
pipe.
and the pipe, and you using this suction of reality known as teleportation, slurp downwards, appearing a couple of feet below your companions. Above you, there's like this really gross metallic screech from the mesh as Windsor disappears, and it kind of seems that the magic messes with it, and then very slowly the mesh reweaves itself together again. As you all descend down and down and down. Winsler, in your hand, this light is still lit, descending 60 feet down. It's this, as it tapers outwards, it becomes ever more frightful almost of a place to be, an expanse that's it's just this very smooth glass surface. It reflects the green light in a very uneven way. It's almost like descending into like cavern beneath the seafloor, right? Where it's just like completely unlit, seemingly going on forever. Every so often, you can see at the kind of like through the glass, you can see like what seems like an abandoned floor where Winsler and Integrity, you see those kind of like, or all of you will see those kind of like iris-like orifice opening doors just slam shut, seemingly a floor abandoned. Further descending, floor after floor after floor after floor. You descend maybe 10 of them before the last 50 feet or so is just completely barren of any of these kind of like ringed around hallways. It seems that it is just stone down here. And as you probably are about, again, 50 feet from the bottom, you hear echoing slightly now the sound of like scratching of like a steel quill almost upon paper.
Do y'all hear that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Someone writing down here?
Maybe it's hard-hitting journalism?
I would hope that's the case and not something else.
Runa, are you here?
You call out, your voice echoes loudly in the place. You hear the scratching stop. And as you all descend further and further and further by the second, the green light of Winsler's flame brings the bottom into clarity. You see this flat glass bottom to this place. On the far eastern side of this vast space, there is one of those orifice doors. And on the far west side, there is another one. In the very center, beneath you, is this square... have you ever watched cage match? Like a cage match of wrestling? Whereas there's this rectangular cage with the grating on the top as well. I would describe it such as a massive rectangular cage, maybe 30 feet wide on a side and 30 feet tall. It is made of this same purple steel. It seems attached to the glass floor, or at least passes through the glass floor. As you all fall down and descend, you can land, if you so choose, on top or beside of it. What would be the preference here?
Beside it? I
Beside
think.
you.
Probably
Going
beside
down
it.
on the ground, softly beside it. The moment your feet touch this glass, the little feathers around your ankles and knees disappear in a white nimbus cloud of magic. Winslow, you hold aloft this green light, and you can kind of peer through these cage, and you can all see very distantly there seems to be a single bookshelf, there seems to be a single table, and there is what appears to be, probably in the very middle of this cage, and so in the middle of this entire vessel, emerging from the ground, this very large glass throne is the only way to describe it. It's probably like 7 feet tall. It's arched in like a grotesque and like violent looking way, with like large spikes coming up from it, not unlike a terrible fractal of ice. Sitting at that throne, and in front of them a desk, you see a figure kind of hunched over. There's a massive book. They seem to be hunched over it. You can see the large quill illuminated in the green in their hand, and you can see this. The skin is a strange color in this green light, but it could be interpreted only as a purple-skinned person. They have these long tentacles falling off of their chin, and they have this smooth, bald head. They are wearing a dark red robe around themselves and are seemingly interrupted from scribing something or writing something into this large tome. From the side, as you peer at them like a animal at the zoo looking through cracks in this cage, you hear a voice that says, "Students, is that Why are you down here? This is Windsor Wallaby. You would recognize this immediately as the voice of one Professor Helena Doss. The rest of you would recognize the look from that day you fought Our Lady of the Deep. She seems to be down here, caged up, and she goes, What on earth are the four of you doing down here?
I mean, I guess we could ask you the same question.
She'll stand up. She puts her hands into her robes and begins walking over to her. She has this long, drawn-out, squidified face, and she'll look at you. She walks right up to the bars, and she goes, well, I was given a chance to continue my research in, although an altered position.
I
as
mean,
the council did not seem to find it appropriate for me to teach classes.
so they just decided to lock you down here?
The face is, you can't see her mouth. It seems to be underneath those tentacles, but her eyes narrow a bit, and she'll look up and she'll say, that was a collaborative sort of decision, I would have to put it at.
Do you want to be here?
Mira Marchand, there's nowhere other than Wildcliff I'd rather be.
Are you worried that you're still under, with everything that happened? Are you still...
The influence of our former... Well, she will always be in eternity our founder, but yes, it is a grand worry of mine that some of her aberrant magic lingers in my mind and will force me to violence against my will. And so if the cage is necessary, for my safety as much as anyone else's.
That's sad, but also honorable.
What are the four of you doing down here? Answer me immediately. I am still head of the Conjuration Department as such an authority on this campus, so please.
We're looking for a friend of mine. She came down here, and she might be in trouble.
Was she one of the students contracted for work on one of the projects? I don't get to know everything that goes on here. No one really does. But there have been a few students poking about.
She was doing other work for the benefit of the school.
Make a...
I'm not lying here, but I am being deceptive in all fairness.
Make a persuasion check to persuade her to leave it at that and not inquire further.
Sure, I can do that. That is a 15 plus 13. That is a 28.
Damn.
She walks forwards and places now you can see clawed hand upon the bars and draws close, and she'll say, Mira Marchand, I won't ask further details. However, I would heavily suggest that you or anyone else that you might associate with, your friends, refrain from coming down here unless asked. There is aberrant magic. She does pull back a bit, and she seems to be in less of a conspiratorial voice, and this sounds more of a polished professor speaking. She'll say, there is aberrant magic flowing around aplenty. It is as if there are rapids of energy down here threatening to sweep you away, and any others who should so haphazardly fall from the sky.
We're not here to linger.
Very well. I'll keep quiet about your being here, provided you want me to, of course. I assume that's the...
Discretion would be good.
Discretion is granted, then. Mr. Wallaby?
Yes?
How has the department been in my absence?
Well... I guess I'm technically the best and only student that I can think of in there, and... I mean, Professor Dollop is doing their best.
She walks towards the cage, now in your direction, Winslet, and will look at you and breathe out like a heavy sigh. And then look over to the other three and say, this is no illusion?
No, he's really there.
The genuine article.
He's very much alive.
And her head turns back to you, Winsler, like this mournful emotion in her eyes, and she'll look down at you and say, yes, you are one of the greatest conjuration students we've ever had, Mr. Wallaby. I feared our department would wither to nothing without you after your demise, but I see that now is a unwarranted belief. You're tougher to get rid of than that.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I have a feeling that maybe the department might not be lasting as long as you think, even with me being around. I remember hearing something about Professor Dollop getting a letter about something.
Likely contracted by Crowe.
It's likely a contract, because I don't know what's going on up there, but
I think they want to build another magical school, if I'm not completely misreading everything, in the Oshuan capital.
it's likely they might be pulling resources from everywhere else.
Poaching professors? Interesting.
Yeah.
I've heard nothing on that subject, I should say, but my research has been central around this aberrant magic. There seems to be some sort of, or there was at the very least, some sort of rift open in this place to a plane far and deep away from this place, full of this aberrant magic that is released upon the school. I understand wanting to shift education away from this place, but that's in such a predatory method, I fear. I've not spoken with Headmaster Crowe in quite some time. He hasn't been to visit. But my research does so continue. Good fortunes for the Conjuration Department may be on the horizon. My research primarily currently focused, Mr. Wallaby, on returning myself to my past form, or at the very least removing the aberrant spike inside my own mind is progressing. Maybe in the next half year or so, I might be able to return to my full duties. But nonetheless, students, I wish you the best of luck on your travels. Should you see Crowe, run and hide as quickly as you can.
All right. Good luck, Professor Doss.
Does he come here often?
He has not visited me at the very least since I've been down here, although I hear whisperings, and she says it with kind of a smirk on her voice. I hear whisperings around that he visits frequently. You can sometimes hear the echoes of things if you listen carefully enough.
Thoughts?
No, not quite the same as thoughts. It's difficult to explain, almost as if the emotion carries far in the hall.
What emotion?
Frustration, most often.
Understandable.
So I relish the fact he does not visit me, for my research has advanced slowly. Students, I leave you to your own doings. You were never here in my eyes. Good luck.
All right.
Thank you.
Good luck, Professor Doss. Thank you.
She
I
nods
wink.
her head. You wink. Mira, she lingers for a second after you wink to her. And you see her close her eyes and turn, marching or walking slowly back to her desk at the center of this cage. What would the four of you like to do now?
So we have the options of going east or west.
That is correct.
Am I still getting pings?
You still get pings. East is the way to go.
All right.
Let's go.
At least if you're looking for Runa.
Yeah, I think we should probably help save a member of my staff.
Eeny, meeny,
Yeah.
miny. Let's go that way.
Okay.
Be a
Yeah,
good
Runa will be fine. I just want to explore.
be
Yeah,
a
no
good
one- it's not the
employer,
problem.
Mira.
You know, all
good
good things
employer always
happen in
comes and looks
places
for
underground.
Yeah.
Show
You
Crow how
all-
it is.
You all head east, marching towards this large iris upon the wall. As you approach it, it glows with a purple energy, almost as if there's veins inside the metal itself. It glows purple, and you hear a as the door slurps open for you, presenting you with one of these wonderful ringed hallways that seem to go around the external, the outside of the vessel. Helpfully posted in front of you are some signs listed in common. They seem to be punched into sheet metal and look very new. They look as if some wonderful innovator thought that this was the best way to display signage in such a foreign and weird alien place. You see some very commercial-looking signs that have some directions. You have young developmentary laboratory, which points to the right. You have the scrying pool pointing to the right.
Cool.
You have pointing to the left map room, and you have another one pointing to the left that says private chambers.
I wonder if we should go to the map room first, because there might be like an actual spare map of the tunnels.
That's
right?
smart.
Ooh, yeah.
Help us navigate a little bit.
Yeah.
Of course.
And I'll for
The
sure
four of
remember
you.
it.
Also, just for your notes, I don't know if I've made this clear before, but Young is spelled J-U-N-G.
Oh, like the guy.
Like the guy.
Like the
Perfect.
guy.
I'll type that.
Everyone knows.
J-U-N-G?
J-U-N-G.
Development?
Development Lab.
That's a no good
Yes.
spelling.
You all head left at this fork in the road, making your way towards the map room. You walk for a minute or so. There's many of these orifice doorways in the wall, but none of them seem to open for you. Some of them even have like chains hung up in front of them, almost
Ooh.
like as if it's like a no-go zone or cut off or cordoned off for some reason.
Weird.
As you proceed, you come to a wonderful one of these orifice rooms. As you stand in front of it, the venation within lights up with this purple, contrasting wonderfully against your green Winsler. And the door kind of like begins to slurp open.
Ew.
You can all step in. You see a circular room, a kind of dome shape room. It has a kind of raised up table in the middle, upon which you can see a sprawling of maps. As you walk up in, you can look around, taking in the entire room. On the dome above, there are maps or like star charts that are almost hung up as if to mimic the night sky on the ceiling. That center table, there's it seems like a topographic, very like a 3-dimensional map of what you can tell is Eastern Agia. Everything from around the lands of the Purebone and Toldir dwarves all the way east. So that's kind of like everything east of the Adriatic Desert, generally, that you can see. It's all in 3-dimensional imagery. There's like little flags where every little town and city is. You can like look around. You see everything you generally recognize. Additionally, on this map specifically, there are like little, I would call them little wooden houses painted gray, which are positioned generally around. They have little flags on them of the Crowe Mercantile logo. Generally, most of them are in the large cities. Some of them seem to be placed just in the middle of nowhere, where there's no towns within a 2-4-day ride, just out in the wilderness, unbecoming. You can see one way up north where you might associate Troyle to be. You can look at the map and see one of those right where Wildcliff is, sitting on its little 3-dimensional mountain with a nice little flag sitting on top of it. You take that all in, and then you can even look at the floor as you walk through the room, and you see that splayed out on the floor are, how to describe them? They look like very antique maps. As you step on them, the paper crinkles in a way, or like gives way and kind of depresses in a way that signifies that they're all really old. It's almost like someone splayed out a bunch of newspapers on the ground, if that makes sense. Like almost every single surface in this room is covered, but the maps on the ground depict Western Agia. There's maps of deserts. There's maps of places like Stone Talon, where Eric Cochran's live. There's maps of the Orcish nation of Summit and such things. There's a lot of desert maps. New, old. As you walk around, you might even see one that has like expedition things marked on it. Tons of ones that have expeditions marked upon them in red letters or in flags and such things. It seems like a well-curated atlas kind of room. And as you stare up like at the sky or at this dome, actually, can everyone just make me perception checks?
No.
Okay.
Mira, 4 + 4, 8.
Mira, make it with advantage.
Oh.
We'll get into it if you roll it well. But...
13 + 4, 17.
Okay.
1 + 8, 17.
17 as well. Okay.
Got a 16.
16. Okay.
I got a 14.
14. Winsler, you walk over to this little map table. You can look around and kind of identify stuff. You see, I'll give you something that's not related to searching, but something that you might be able to glean that's helpful because you rolled okay. As you look at this like topic or this like 3-dimensional map on the table in the middle of the room, you kind of can piece together. It seems that it might be a map of distribution centers for Crowe Mercantile or factories of a sort. And Wildcliff marked very prominently on that map as well.
Yeah.
There's also one, Winsler, probably like if you're looking at the map, maybe a day east towards the mountains from your own family farm, which is crazy, right? It's a wide open plain of mud. You'd be able to see any structure within like 10 miles, right? So it's strange to you. It's close enough that you would be able to see it from home, or at least within like a day's walking from home, which, you know, is not a crazy thing for you to have done. So that might stick out in your mind. Serenep, Integrity, and Mira Marchand. You take in all these maps from around the room, and Mira, you're the first one to spot it. Almost like it feels like your eyes are drawn to it, almost of someone else's accord pulling them that way. You feel like a tightness in your left arm as you look around. Hidden,
Like playing with a Ouija board, it just kind of starts to shift over to
like
it.
you feel you feel like a hand on the back of your head that goes supernaturally. You are pulled to this thing. Integrity and Serenep, your eyes sharp like hawks. You look around and can see it's hidden fairly well, but traces are visible. It is covered by maybe 2 other maps. It's almost like a plastering of them up there. Posters laying over posters, things occluding others. But Mira, Integrity, Serenep, you see it is a map. The border of it is covered in spirals. It looks to be printed or to be inked with golden ink upon a beautiful parchment, wonderfully preserved. Up there seems to be, and almost like the center is not a solid concrete map. It is almost like these rings, which look as though they can be rotated. It looks as though it is a Shioran map. The map is secondary. The map is almost more of artwork, but there seems to be a lot of text written around it in a beautiful spiraling kind of script. Serpents dot it and adorn it. Birds as well.
And I
in the
assume no one
corners.
can interpret it of the like
All
between
of you
our
speak
3
Draconic.
brains?
All of you speak Draconic, and it is written in Draconic.
Classic.
Classic. From this distance, the most critical thing which you can make out is it's like part in the center. It's almost like these concentric rings that you can spin around and almost like combine the glyphs in different ways to get different pieces of text out of it. But in its current configuration, you see something that reads Tenets of Priesthood, 2nd volume.
Oh.
It's probably like 15 feet off the ground in this dome of a sky or a ceiling. What would you all like to do?
I really want to take that map. I tell my friends.
Oh, we're absolutely taking that map.
You think Crowe's been down here and been using all of this?
Hundo fucking P.
This is this is a lot.
Mira, where did you learn that?
Oh, I just coined it.
Oh,
Do you like
okay.
it?
Yeah, I do.
Gotta trademark it.
Yeah.
How far is it? How far is the map?
It's like 15 feet up in the air. You'd probably have to like rip it away from like 6 or 7 other maps that adjoin it. And it would probably leave a very big gap, a very noticeable gap. Every other surface in this room is plastered with maps.
Is it mage handable? Like if all of our mage hands work together?
It's definitely mage handable. It's just like pasted up there, but it would leave like a gap that's noticeable. But
We'll paint it.
your powers combined, little mage hands, one
Yoink.
spectral little artificial hand, one Winsler's little white glove of a hand reaches up, and one invisible to the naked eye reaches up, and their powers combined. Serenep, you don't have mage hand, do you?
I don't.
Serenep, you stand there with your hands on your hips and watch and nod
Yep.
as your friends do a great job. Your powers combined rip this. You hear like sound of it ripping or being pulled off the wall, not ripping into pieces, but it pulls off of the wall and shakily is brought down to you. It might be like a 4 foot by 3 foot kind of scroll. It looks like it has like like it is a scroll you can see as it is brought down to you. It has like a wooden bar at one side around which you can roll it up, but it is like wide by tall. You can lay it down on the ground and look forward onto it. It has the tenets of priesthood, and then very blatantly drawn in a beautiful draconic script, it just says, Meathide speaks to those who are worthy. Loss of the sight is unacceptable.
Oh.
And as you look, these concentric rings in the center have text on them, which is probably those more elaboration on that philosophy or that tenet of the priesthood. But there's also, it seems, patterns of stars or constellations mixed together. on there, almost as if this is a star chart of sorts.
Ooh.
Are these recognizable constellations to us?
They're recognizable in some instances. However, others are foreign. There's one which is in Draconic translated roughly as the shield or shielder, which is a large, like almost wall looking one. It's like a point that goes up and then has like crenellations on top. It looks like some sort of wall. You've never seen a constellation that looks in that formation, but others are very similar, almost as if they are just directly taken from scripts like this.
Do you think this could be directions for somewhere?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Like maybe this is like showing us a general location of where something is? That would explain why there's star charts everywhere.
What do you think it means that Crowe knows this?
Do you think maybe he's interested in getting whatever he can from that? Either like actual power or something?
Whatever he wants it for, it's not good.
Yeah, I mean, the richest guy in the world doesn't become the headmaster of a school for academic reasons. I just don't get what he wants out of this. But we definitely have to take this map with us, right? I mean, there's no way we're leaving this here.
It could be useful.
Yeah.
Exactly. I wonder.
It could be useful for him not to have it.
What
True.
if we replicate it into like a fake one? Like change up the stars or something.
Ooh, arts and crafts project. I love that. Maybe
Of course.
after we get Runa?
Probably.
Yeah.
Might be a good idea to look for her still.
Yeah, I think.
No, you can just get the map and get out. You know, that's all you came for.
Yeah.
Mir Marchand, would you like to? You guys can, your powers combined, roll this massive map up, and one of you can kind of like tie it and strap it to your backs, like almost like a staff with padding
I will
to your
do it.
back. If
How
you would
tall
like.
is it?
I love that it's Winslow because fucking like berserk sword ass. Like,
It's like when a turtle
wizard-
has like
the
balloons
wizard equivalent
straight,
of a berserk
like
Yeah.
strapped to them so that you can't
That's
lose
fucking
them.
funny. Winslow, you put this over your shoulder. It's lighter than you would expect, but still very like unwieldy to
Awkward.
maneuver. The four of you look up, and it's like an eyesore now. You can see that purple metal shining through, and it's kind of like you look at it for one moment, contemplate what purpose could Crowe have for this, and then you can turn your backs to this room and exit back out into the hallway. The door goes slurp, and you see before you an empty hallway. As you all walk out, could you make insight checks for me?
no.
No.
That's a non-natural 10.
God damn.
That is
17.
Okay.
13 plus 4.
That is a non-natural 20.
Okay.
25.
25. Everyone but Mira, you can feel horrible anger.
Oh,
You can it like enters you almost like a wind blows against your skin. You feel a horrible anger. You feel embarrassment. You feel broken pride. You feel fear. You feel just hatred boiling under your skin. You feel like as if something is. You feel scared and angry and hurt and all of it all at once, all combined. It washes over you like a wave in a moment and then leaves.
Like we were feeling it, or that someone else, or we were feeling someone else feel it.
You feel it on the like wind hitting your body. It's not an emotion that goes yet you are feeling, but you still almost as if it's palpable in the air, can feel it. Almost when you're in a crowd and you can feel the anticipation before something begins, except made magical and made real that you feel wash over your skin.
ugh. What was that?
What?
You felt that too?
I felt it really bad.
Okay. I thought that
Whoever's
was.
feeling this.
It was like a storm of emotions that was just like toiling and boiling, and it's not good.
Very
Yeah, Mira-
conflicted.
Do you think that's the thing Doss said about Crowe, or?
It's quite possible. There's a lot going on in that one. It was really hard to make out what was really happening.
It was a lot of emotions at once.
So much.
None of it was good.
But I think it is best that we find Runa and not stay here any longer.
I agree.
Yeah.
Where is she?
Mira,
Where
you
is she?
point down the hallway, the exact opposite way of the direction you guys
Okay.
went.
Okay.
Let's head there then.
You guys walk further down this hallway, rushing now probably, maybe at least 3 of you, maybe confused at what they were experiencing, but understanding it to be relating to what Doss said about emotions in this place. You pass a door that reads Scrying Pool. You pass many chained up doorways. You come to one which reads the Young Developmental Laboratory. In Mira Marchand, you get a ping of it being Mruna being 30 feet just beyond this doorway. As you all stand here, as you all are approaching, the door is already lit up with that purple venation, and as you are maybe 20 feet away, right before you like walk up to it and it opens for you, you hear almost screaming from the other side in a voice that you so easily recognize as your headmaster Crowe.
What?
Oh shit!
And that's where we'll end this episode of Trials and Trebuchets.
What's he doing down here?
Sarah, could you give us an outro very quickly?
Absolutely. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Trials and Trebuchets. If you did, leave a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast you want to do this t-shirts, Twitter, other check us out on Instagram or Twitter, not Twitter. Check us out on Instagram at Trials and Trebs. Also, if you're interested in talking to us and other listeners, you can find our Discord server. It's really cool. You can find the link to that in our episode descriptions. Finally, if you want to be a little bit extra generous, you can support us by going to patreon.com/treasureandstep. You can get DM notes, make a Patreon character like Runa, etc., etc. Also, we have merch that is at trebmerch.com. We have stickers. You can always we have some t-shirts. You can always check back for other designs. Probably, maybe there'll be like another spooky t-shirt for Weeding Hollow. I don't really know. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode. And if you're binge watching, you can listen to the rest now. Otherwise, see you next week.
Oh my
And sold for
goodness.
$300. Bye.
Oh yeah, bye.
Bye, everybody.